Okay, hello. Today I wanted to show you a build I was cooking up with help from obvious references that I will leave in the description. So this is the tree right now. I'll explain it later. The way the build works is, I'm sure you've seen it before, the tech with Larada's spear and some runic ward tech to make us a Autobomber slash unkillable ward tank dude. So I'm using the Acolyte of Chyula Ascendancy with Archon of Chyula, which I'll explain how to get later. And we stack a bunch of runic ward through the Brass Dome, Svalin. We rune forge all our gear that we can. It uses a lot of skill slots. Every single skill slot is full. Wish I had like one or two more, but that is fine. So we put the auto bombing that's happening around us is explosive transmutation with the Archon of Chyula remnants into the breach and remnants of Kalgur, which constantly gives us our runic ward in maps. This will overflow to 4,000 sometimes, for about 4,000. And that applies poison. We stack a lot of poison magnitude. That poison then, stacks up. The poison applies bleed. The bleed blows up with Herald of Blood. Herald of Blood blows up, applies more poison, and it keeps going with. This is with the auto bombing part of it, which the tornadoes from Acolyte of Chyula, the Archon of Chyula, sorry, also help with the auto bombing part. The other part is we use Spearfield to just apply a ton of bleed, a ton of poison, and keep feeding into everything else. We use Wolfpack with Amanama's Tithe, Ramirez Acquittal, and we just make the minions blow themselves up. When the Wolfpack blows themselves up, we get a abyssal modifier. This isn't necessary. I don't think this is necessary. I just like it. I think it's fun. It looks cool. I love it when my minions blow up and then I just get this weird shit going on my screen. It's good. I have it on this amulet. But if you don't have an amulet like this, you can honestly just don't need it. Like, you really don't need it. You don't need the Wolfpack. It's just fun. The things you do need, you also don't need Withering Presence. If you can't get the Spirit, since it's very Spirit heavy, 263 Spirit, that's why I use the Alpha's Howl, and I have Spirit on my amulet, which, once again, Spirit here is unnecessary. This is just the amulet I got. Like, it's just the amulet I got. It's unnecessary, though. You don't need the Spirit. The Alpha's Howl, though, the 100 Spirit, whether you can get it on a Scepter or something else, is definitely needed. The problem with a Scepter right now is I am using block as my main defense layer. As one of my defensive layers, on top of the life pool, the ward, the regen, everything like that. If I was evasion or energy shield with CI or something, you could use a scepter that I will hopefully get one day. I would like to get this scepter here. I would like to get this scepter here one day, Palm of the Dreamer, and maybe respec out of block into evasion energy shield or just straight energy shield and take away the runic ward. But for a budget, this is much lower budget compared to evasion energy shield. As you can see, we have black steel gloves, black steel boots, this which is uncorrupted, one socket. We have this which is uncorrupted, runs one socket. I put like 3 divines in it to get a better roll. That's it. This roll is not even good. I just did it because I had -5. I didn't want -5 anymore. I have a corrupted 2-socket Spirit of Larada, which is very cheap. If you do the rune Larada, Spear of Larada, Splinter. There you go. You want the rune forged one because you won't get if you corrupt it without it being runeforged, you cannot runeforge it. So you would definitely want it to be runeforged. Where's the augment sockets? Okay, here, augment sockets. 4 divines for corrupted Spirit Lorata, 5 divines. Very cheap, very cheap. You don't even need the 2 sockets. 2 sockets just helps with an extra bit of damage. So you can actually get an exceptional version and make it better. There's upgrades that can be done. Original Sin, very important. Very important, Original Sin. All elemental damage converted to chaos damage. Poison and bleed is considered chaos damage, especially your poison. So we have lightning on our runes. That lightning, 100% of this lightning gets converted to chaos damage, which feeds into our poison. The Splinter of Lorata lets you apply any number of poisons. So instead of getting 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10, we get infinite, as long as we can keep attacking. The tech behind this highly focuses around this. If you do not have, like if you have a spear with high flat damage, it will do less. It will do hundreds and thousands less dot damage. You could probably make it work with a high fizz damage spear, or like a high elemental damage spear. I haven't tested that because I don't want to. But you can test it. I have put some numbers in Path of Building, and the Path of Building numbers do come out a lot worse. So, yeah. On the secondary weapon slot, unnecessary. You really don't need this. Honestly, this gets me killed because it loses life. It loses life. I kill myself sometimes just by accidentally swapping to this. So I only have it so my despair. Oops. So my despair gets a little bit of extra chaos red. See, it goes from 48 to 52. It's very, very minimal. Honestly, it's more dangerous. I would rather put something on the second that allows me to move faster, because I don't move fast, you know. I have sprint and I have roll. I don't have like bone shatter or whirling slash or anything like that. So later on I will test and try get something better on my offhand slot to make me move faster, because I don't like moving slow. And sprinting is bad. I don't know why they make sprinting make you fall over, but whirling slash and bone shatter and these fast movement techs, you have no downside. But for sprinting, you have a downside. I don't understand the design behind that, but it doesn't matter. The gloves are good. You don't need these gloves. You can use something cheaper like Plague Finger. It doesn't have to be Rune Master. You can Rune Master it yourself, but you can use Plague Finger. Let's go regular Plague Finger. You can Rune Master it yourself. Like that 1 Exalt, very, very cheap. You can use. I recommend Blacksteel Sabatons to get the maximum runic ward. Plague Finger can go here, but any sort of maximum runic ward, evasion, energy shield, whatever defensive layer you're doing at the time, definitely put that on your boots. I have 2 crafted modifiers on my boots, unnecessary. Once again, I will, if this gets traction, I will write up a guide and make it a lot more legible and understandable than me just yapping. I have the Darkness Enthroned with the glove enchantment on it, so I can get the extra poison magnitude, 40% magnitude of damaging elements, poison bleed, and the extra fizz damage, which feeds into our poison. Ring, this could be a much better ring. You want flat damage, so fire, lightning. Obviously, you'd want lightning, cold, and fire, or whatever the highest modifiers are. And resistances, all this quality stuff doesn't matter. It can be any ring as long as you can cap your resistances. I'll explain why this one isn't capped yet in a sec. Once again, amulet. Amulet, you can do anything you want as long as you can cap your resistances. If you can't get an Alpha's Howl, you can try get a bit of extra spirit. You can turn off Withering Presence. That'll free up. I also have these in, so I'll take these out. So there's 28 spirit. I can turn this off. 58 spirit. I can take off my amulet, and it's good to go. So you don't need this. You don't need the wolf pack. You don't need the extra 50 spirit. If you have Alpha's Howl, if you don't have Alpha's Howl, you can get an amulet with spirit base or whatever. I was using an amulet with spirit base before. those stuff back in. Now, the gems I'm using, I will put them in the description as well, but I will explain the gems because I was messing around with the gems and this is the configuration that works the best. The other configuration that I had was more focused on Archon of Chyula, the tornadoes that Archon of Chyula spawns, Chyula's will, applying the bleed and the poison and the bursting plague with a large AoE. That didn't work very good. Plague Bearer is the main skill for clearing. Like outside of let's say just standing around autobombing, Plague Bearer is where your damage comes from. Archon of Chyula, the tornadoes just help. They just help. So I'll go into a map and I'll show you real quick. Look, we can do Jado with the extra modifiers. We'll do a random map here. I'm gonna get a tablet, sorry. These aren't juice tablets. They're just good. They're just mediumly good tablets that I've made myself because, yeah, I don't really care very much. I just like to chill. So one with like 8 modifiers. I don't know, this one's got a lot of modifiers. All right, we'll put this map in tier 15 corrupted, blah 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 blah, Jado, whatever. I don't have this because there is some modifiers that will brick you, specifically freeze. Since I don't have full freeze immunity yet, there is a tech behind the freeze immunity that I will work on. I should also put this back in. And now I'll show you a quick showcase on how exactly it works. Let me load into a map. You throw your spears down, which will give you some rage. And I can throw these down. You see my rage go up. The rage really helps. Now I can just press Archon of Chyula, and I can kind of just where's a bunch of I can't just stand here. Like I actually take no damage. Everything dies around me. Plague Bear is up to 100 if I want to press it. You know, Bing chilling. Let's go up over here. Same thing. Archon of Chyula kills. This is nothing new. People have discovered this tech ages ago, but a lot of their builds are a bit less defensive. They don't have as many defenses. They can't just kind of stand here like this and just, you know, chill. Like you can see my HP drop. It doesn't matter because I have 4,000 ward. I can press flask if I want to, but sometimes I just meme. I take this flask off. I don't even need it. For some of the maps, if you know, some maps get a bit scarier, but anyway, you can see the basics of this. The Archon of Chyula constantly up. I'll explain how that works as well. You can do, yeah, just leave the map. Let's get out of here. This works on every map, every tier 16s, 200% delirium. I've done it all with this build so far. I've done every single boss with this build. It's very easy, very chill. You know, it's not super fast, but very chill. Kind of relaxing, very budget, since your weapons and your gear is very cheap. You know, a lot of this gear is very cheap. This is probably the most expensive thing. I was using a different shield at the time. I was using one of these shields with full runic ward. I don't recommend it. I think if you can't get Svalin straight away, just use a scepter and just try to stay a bit more safe with your spear field until you can get a Svalin. The runic ward on block is really helpful. The extra runic ward is very helpful. So we take no extra damage from critical hits, so we don't have to worry about critical hits because of the brass dome. Our block is at 75% thanks to lucky block on Svalin. These are the defensive layers. Our resistance becomes capped because we have the node here. Archon buffs also grant 20% all elemental resistance. This is only 10% because we allocate Dominion. We anoint Dominion into our amulet, or you can get Dominion on Megalomaniac. It's expensive though. I don't recommend it doing it this way. I don't recommend doing it this way. 75 divine. If you don't have the budget, just anoint it on your amulet. It's very cheap. I'll leave the combination down in the description. It's very cheap. And that's basically the gear. Obviously, these gloves are really good. not, once again, not necessary to be this good. You can just have any Rune Mastered gloves or any Evasion Energy Shield gloves with flat damage. The more flat damage, the better. Honestly, if you can get 3 flat damage rolls, or like adds 2 damage rolls, if you can get 3 of them, that's the best damage gloves you can get. They're even better than these, but I decided to test with the poison magnitude and the bleeding and stuff. The remnants can be collected 35 away. That is crafted modifier from a alloy. I believe it's an alloy. Yeah, it's an alloy. So you can craft this on your gloves for the remnants. When you're up to it, when you're ready to do that, you know, like I said, this build can be scaled further. This is already mid tiers of the scaling that I was working on. I started a lot worse off than this. I died a lot learning this. I killed myself a lot due to this node. Do not get this node if you can. Please do not get this node. You will kill yourself. You do not want to kill yourself. It happens more often than you think. Yeah. So I was using a Megalo with this allocated as well as Lucidity allocated, but I eventually moved to the From Nothing with Resonance. So I can get these nodes, I can get these nodes, extra chaos damage here, without this downside of losing 3% maximum life energy shield when you cast chaos skill. Because this will kill you if you're an energy shield base at 1 HP, and this will kill you if your HP goes to 0 and your ward is taking the damage, and you press the chaos skill, which Plague Bearer is, it will kill you. So, just letting you know, this is dangerous. Very dangerous. Now, the jewels I'm using, you don't need From Nothing, you don't need Megalomaniac, you don't need any of that stuff. You can just get very cheap Heart of the World with extra chaos damage and some damaging ailments, whatever. Very cheap. You can scale it, once again, you can scale it more. I have jewels with stats. The stats in this are kind of very difficult to manage once you like, if you don't have all attributes on your amulet, if you don't have attributes on any of your gear, it can be quite tough to manage the stats. So attributes are actually not a bad role. I would rather attributes and spirit, honestly, on my amulet. I would also rather an extra suffix, but I didn't look that Wolfpack doesn't, the Wolfpack portent amulet only lets 3 prefixes and 2 suffixes. I would rather 3 suffixes and 2 prefixes, but maybe I can fix that another time. I'll fix that another time. That's the basics, right? I'll go over the gems very quickly. Archon of Chyula, concentrated area for the extra damage. I don't like the AoE. I think the concentrated extra damage, like the more area damage, is better. It applies larger bleed. The way the blade poison bleed work is it goes off the base hit. That base hit then scales with all the modifiers. So let's say my base hit was 1 and I have like a million modifiers for poison. That base hit from 1 will apply 1 damage and then it'll scale. But if my base hit is 100, then it's 100 and it'll scale. 1,000 and it'll scale. So the higher the base hit damage, this number here, is the larger the poison damage can scale. So if this was lower, obviously it would do less poison. If it was higher, it would do more poison. This more damage applies a lot more damage from the tornadoes that spawn from Archon of Chyula. Poison to get more magnitude, extra poison chance. You don't need this, but I like it because the magnitude and they're always bleeding. Chaos Mastery to get 1 level. I think it helps 10% or something, 10% extra damage or 5% or something. Deadly Poison for more magnitude, and Bursting Plague because I like this one to stack my Bursting Plague. I got Bursting Plague in a few different things, but for autobombing this is good because I don't really have to worry so much. The tornado just blows everything up. Into the Breach, I get this Catal's Rejuvenation for cooldown, because cooldown helps your explosive, explosive transmutation and the remnant to Kalgur. This helps. Anyway, it's cheap. I think it's cheap. Let me check. Let me check how cheap it is. Let me go here. I think it's only a couple X. Okay, never mind. It's 5 divine. Okay, it's not super cheap, but You don't need it. Unnecessary. Harmonic Remnants, Remnant Potency 1. Anything above Remnant Potency 1 will put your Remnants on a cooldown, so Remnant Potency 1 is good. This is a meme, don't worry about it. Cast on Block, a meme, you only get this, well, you can get this in other ways, but I get it through my Svalin. Svalin has Cast on Block. If it's corrupted, you cannot add the extra rune thingies with the jewelers. You cannot add the extra gem sockets with jewelers. Anyway, I have Cast on Block, I have Ice Nova because I want to push the enemies back. I tried Contagion, I tried Curses, I tried some other things. This is the most effective for me. Boundless Energy to get more energy, energy retention, so it can knock the enemies back more. Because the only time you will get really annoyed is when you get mini stunned, when you get surrounded. Because sometimes you get surrounded. You don't have to worry about getting surrounded. You won't die unless you get heavy stunned. But there's a stun charm. But it's annoying. I don't like it. So this helps with that. Deadly Poison because it'll apply poison, and Magnified Area to make the pushback and the radius larger. This is from the wand on my offhand. Unnecessary. Unnecessary. Wolfpack, once again, it's from the amulet. Unnecessary. But these, I'll just mouse over them very quickly. Unnecessary. Don't need it. Spearfield, very important. Every spear can apply poison stacks. Every spear that's in the ground can apply poison stacks when they walk over him. The initial hit also applies poison stacks. So you can just go bam, 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 bam. You just hold this down if you really want to and just go AFK basically. You take no mana, it's chill. I have Admixture, Magnitude of Bleeding and Poison. I have Bleed in here, so it'll apply Bleed. Since I'm using Splinter of Larada, it always applies poison, so you don't need to put poison in here. Bleed, Admixture, Rage for the extra Rage, because there is a Rage gem here. Poison Shrimp's will deal damage 2% faster per Rage. This is very important for Plaguebearer. It really increases your damage a lot. Even with only 30 Rage, that's 60% faster damage. That's a lot. That's a lot. 60% faster, that's a lot, considering you're applying like 70 poison stacks. Corrosion to break their armor, and Auric Smelting, so once the armor is broken, they permanently take extra physical damage, which is, it's good. It helps. It helps a lot. It really is a big increase in damage. This is cheap. These are all just cheap gems, obviously. Withering Presence, unnecessary. I have it here just for a bit of extra wither. Your Archon of Chyula tornadoes also apply wither. So it's just extra wither. The more wither, the better. Wither is a scaling modifier for poison. I mean, for chaos damage. It reduces. It's basically like removing the armor off the enemy for chaos damage. So it's basically, it's like the way wither works is like a armor break for chaos damage. It's an extra. It's just extra damage. Unnecessary if you don't have the spirit. I have the spirit, so I use it. Prolonged duration, so the wither lasts longer, and chaos mastery for the extra level. Explosive Transmutation, one of your most important gems. You can get away with level 20, it doesn't matter, it does help. 21, it does definitely give you a large damage increase. Spell Cascade, so when the explosions happen, they happen twice. As you can see, they're happening on the sides as well as the center of the explosion. Magnified Area, more area. Bleed to apply bleed, which then applies poison, which then scales the poison through Herald of Blood. Deadly Poison and Poison 3. These are kind of mandatory. You can mess with Bursting Plague if you want to. You can mess with Admixture. This is the configuration I've landed on. Despair is your curse. Once again, you don't need this. This really helps. This Despair curse really helps. And that is why I have +4 levels of Despair on my wand. This is cheap as hell. This is very, very cheap. Okay, I can't bother looking at that. It's cheap. Just trust me, it's cheap. The Prolonged Duration, Magnified Area, Efficiency 2, Cursed Ground, and Rapid Casting. So you can see how fast I can cast these curses and straight swap back. I can just curse, Spearfield, I get the curses down. Curse, Spearfield, get curse down. These last for a really long time. Usually when I'm clearing the map, the curse doesn't matter, but if I'm like doing a remnant or something, I can curse the area and it will stay there and I just chill in the area. They're permanently minus chaos resistance. Good on bosses, you can put it down. Yeah. Just make sure your curse is set to weapon set 2 if you're using the wand I'm using, or if you're using a other curse wand or something. If you're not, you can just leave it on weapon set 1. It honestly doesn't make a big difference. It's just min-max stuff. Plague Bearer. This is the most important skill that in your kit for clearing outside of autobombing. Basically, this number goes up to 100%. Once it reaches 100%, you press the button, and it does a big AoE. It applies the poison. It applies a max hit of 16,000 or whatever that is, 15,905, whatever. I don't really understand it, but let's just say it does that. It works. It does big damage. I have Tacti's Aya. Like I said, the rage, more damage. More damage faster. More damage from hits, each poison. So let's say they have 10 hits, right? Let's say they have 10 poison stacks from your spear field or from your autobombing or your tornado or whatever. They have 20 poison, who cares, doesn't matter. The number is infinite. It goes up to about 70 to 80 to 100 on bosses. So that's an extra 8% more for each poison on the enemy, up to 40%. So at max it is 5 poison, 40% extra damage. Very good. You always have more than 5 poison, like always. It's impossible. Like there's no way you don't have more than 5 poison. So this is just straight 40% damage increase. Exploit weakness. When the armor becomes broken through spear field once, through the poison, through corrosion, it will constantly keep breaking the armor. You don't have to keep spear fielding to break the armor. You just do it once. It applies the poison. It breaks the armor. You spam this. It consumes the armor, does the extra damage, and then the armor keeps breaking. You consume it, the break, consume, break, consume. You don't have to press spear field a bunch. It's just for the initial break of the armor through corrosion. Bleed, because this has a 100% chance to poison, so you don't need the poison. The bleed is helpful for Herald of Blood. And Varana's Siege, this is not necessary. This is just extra damage against bosses and stuff like that. You can just use Magnified Area 2, unnecessary. Herald of Plague, important. Doesn't need to be corrupted or anything. Can just be level 20, 11, 19, 18, whatever. Chaos Mastery and Armor Demolisher. I don't know if this does anything, but I have nothing else to put in here. So honestly, you can just leave this in here. That's it. You don't need anything else. You can't really put anything in Herald of Plague. It doesn't really support much. And then we have Remnants of Kalgur. Once again, it doesn't need all these extra sockets. It only needs 2 sockets for Harmonic Remnants and Remnant Potency. This is what gives you the ward. As you're running around, the remnants spawn, you consume it, it gives you ward. As you saw in the showcase, I had more than 3,800 ward due to this. Blasphemy for repulsion tech. We have a constant curse repulsion being applied to every monster that we walk past. That once it's hit, which is they just get hit through autobombing or through the tornado or through spearfield, through whatever, that then explodes it. It applies poison. It applies all these gems, poison, admixture, bleed, and bursting plague. This is just extra damage. I don't know how necessary this is. I think you don't need it, but I can fit it in. I would need to test more with this. Maybe get rid of Blasphemy and get rid of Withering Presence. Maybe get rid of Blasphemy. Get rid of the Spirit on my aim. There's a lot of things I can mess around with still, but this is so far this is useful. It's useful for killing the small white mobs. It does help for small white mobs. I haven't even got it level 20 yet because I can't get the int just yet. I'll definitely fix that another time. This is just basic. Herald of Blood, this is important. You would think it's not, but it is. With poison, admixture, bleed 3, corrosion, and magnified area. This is just helpful for breaking the armor of the mobs. Like this is just a clearing tool. This is not for bossing. This is only for clearing large packs of monsters. This just helps with the AoE clear. That's all. It reapplies your poisons. It helps apply your poisons. It applies bleed, which applies all the other things. Everything gets scaled from it. Corrosion constantly breaks the monster's armor, so you don't have to spear field when you're clearing through a map. This would do it for you. And then you can consume the armor with Plague Burst, etc. And Magnified Area to make the AoE larger, of course. That is the basics of the skill setup, right? Once again, you can remove a lot of these things. The things you can't remove: Herald of Blood, Herald of Plague, Plague Bearer, Explosive Transmutation. Those are necessary. So if I turn this off, I turn Blasphemy off. I got 88 Spirit, and I take these off. So I have 113 extra Spirit that you don't need. So you honestly don't need this. Once again, if you have a Scepter, you don't need this. If you have this, you can put this. You know, there's a lot of leeway of changing the build around to suit what you want to do, how you want to play it. But the basics of the poison tech is an Acolyte of Chyula Autobombing Remnants will cover most things. I'll explain how to get the Archon later. Very obvious. We take this, we get the purple runes, the purple remnants. Since you can choose if you want red, blue, or purple, we choose purple. I want the main thing I want this for is the increased effect and the further away, collecting them from further away, and the 50% extra increased effect of chaos damage from the purple remnants when we get this. Helpful, very good. Once again, you don't need it, not necessary. You can, if you're struggling with survival or mana, you can just leave it, or you can take the mana or the HP. This gives us HP when we collect the remnant, which we're doing infinitely all the time. This gives us mana. If you're struggling on mana, you can take both of these. I don't need mana, so I don't take this. I'm also level 97, so I have a lot of points to work with. But if you don't have a lot of points to work with, and like I said, this gets traction, I will try to do like a leveling build, a mid-tier build, this one, and then endgame, because this is like before the true endgame expensive build. This is like, I'd say this is like 200 divines. I'd say this setup I have right now, this exact setup, is 100 to 200 divines, depending if you're lucky or not. You can honestly do this whole build with like 1 divine or 2 divines. You can make it work. You won't be able to do level 16 maps or level 15 maps or 200% delirious maps or anything like that with radiated or whatever, but you will be able to clear maps with, Elk and Go maps. You'll be able to clear very, very comfortably, very easily. One-shot the bosses very, very easily. So we'll go over the passive tree quickly and we'll end it there. Now, I have pathed a few different ways. You can path this way if you need the stats. You can path through here if you need the stats, etc, etc. If you need stats, you can find it. I've gone through here because this does give stats, and it gives you the skill, speed, attack speed, cast speed. This attack damage works with poison because it is considered off the attack you do. So this spear field is an attack skill. If you're using a spell, I don't know if it works the same, but this is also an attack. As you can see, it's a martial weapon, so it'll be considered an attack. So this just helps the attack damage, it's just small things. Path down here, got stats, poison. You don't need the duration. The magnitude is more important than the duration. Down here, same thing. You don't need this. Magnitude. This is the only time poison duration is necessary. Well, it's not necessary. This is the only time I really get poison duration. I don't actually need this. Honestly, I could remove these 3 points and put them somewhere else, and it might even help. But I might as well get them because I have a dual socket here. You can just path to this. You don't need all this extra stuff if you're slowly getting there, Once again, more magnitude of poison if they haven't been poisoned. So your first poison will deal 60% increased magnitude on your first application of poison, which is very strong because it carries over with Herald of Plague. Then we path this way, we get this stuff. Immune to poison, not necessary, but it's a nice quality of life. We don't need all this extra poison on hit, this extra duration. If you have the points, you can. I don't know, maybe I should get this. I don't know. I don't need it, but if you can get it. There's things you can change around, obviously. Same here, more poison. We go up, we have resonance. If you don't have the from nothing resonance, you don't have to worry about any of this. You can get a megalo with spaghettification. I think it is kind of cheap. Yeah, 200 exiles. It's very cheap. Very cheap. The other one doesn't matter. Spaghettification is what matters. This is good because if you path to this, you'll take this. Once again, I went over. You don't want this if you path to it. But if you get it through a Megalo, you just get this straight up, which is nice. You need the stats. The extra chaos damage is nice. Movement speed. It's just nice. It's just a very nice node. These nodes don't matter. You can come up here. This is very large damage increase. Once again, you don't need it. Go up here. This is necessary. This is 100% necessary. You can also get this one if you want the extra buff duration, but I just press it every 10 seconds, 10-20 seconds, doesn't worry me. This is necessary to cap your resistance. If I had capped lightning resistance, like I'm overcapped on everything. This gives 10% resistance, so on everything except chaos. So I'll actually have way overcapped cold, fire, lightning. That's just my gear by accident. You know, it just happened that way. You could min-max it more. I could drop some cold and fire resistance to cap it with this, but it's just a little thing you can do. I have stats here. I need the stats. Like I said, it's very heavy on stats. I really need the stats. Once I corrupt some jewels, get some extra things around, mess with some extra things, I'm sure I can make it work with save some points. The curse application, double curses is good because you have despair and you have repulsion. So you can apply both of those. You have to get this on both weapon sets. So just 1 point. Don't need it if you're not using repulsion. Don't need it if you're not using despair. Like if you're early leveling. I'll go over the weapon set stuff later. Like these are all just little min-max things. I've pathed all the way down here to get the extra block chance, because without these it is very hard to get your block to 75. You can actually get it to 79, but I don't have the points and I don't have the extra block chance from a double socketed Svalin. So you can this is the best way to cap your block. Honestly, it's the best way to cap your block with Svalin. If you're doing Eve or Energy Shield or something like that, if you're trying a different way of scaling your defenses, you can remove all this, save yourself a bunch of points. You can go for evasion. I don't know, there's a lot of evasion nodes here. Evasion, Energy Shield. You get lightning reset. You get reses here as well. You get deflection. That's a very good stat if you scale it with evasion. Through this, yeah, there's lots of different ways you can make this and set it up your way, but this is the way I've landed on. And that's basically it. You can, as long as you make sure you get this, as long as you make sure you get this node here for extra remnant. What's it called? Extra remnant collection, further away distance, remnant distance thingy. As long as you get that, you're good to go. I'll go over it once more really quickly. I will, instead of this gets traction, I can make a written guide, but I'm lazy and I'm just a very lazy person. GG, you know what I'm saying? If you know, you know. That's it. This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. You can use any flasks you want, any mana flask. It's very rare you run out of mana, so even if a mana mob runs at you, you don't really care. You just whatever. Like you don't even need to press buttons. This is the only button you really press. This doesn't cost any mana, so you can just spin and press Plague Barrier, spin, do whatever. Yeah, it's capable of clearing 200% Delirium. Capable of clearing tier 16 200% Delirium, triple irradiated with Jado. It's capable of clearing any boss in the game. It is capable of clearing Expedition. I've done some expeditions with 8 modded maps. A Grand Expedition, sorry, with 8 modded maps and triple irradiated with Jado. I don't think... There's definitely ways to push it further that I'm currently farming for. You know, I'm saving up my divines to maybe swap to Palm of the Dreamer, swap to Evasion Energy Shield, swap my Alpha's Howl, since I won't need the extra spirit through Palm of the Dreamer, blah, 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 blah. There's little extra things you can do. Freeze Charm, Stun Charm, Rite of Passage, if you need, you can use Ignite. I'm using the Snake one because poison and I like the way it looks. Not necessary, you can put Ignite here. The next thing I would be working on is getting Ignite or Freeze immunity through this node here. Crystallize immunities, which you can get through a Megalomaniac, or you can anoint it if you get a Dominion Megalomaniac. It depends what's cheaper for you, what you want to do, what you're happy with building, what you want to build around. So this depends. You get Chill if you're gems are blue, ignite if your gems are red, and shock if your gems are green. We're using a lot of dex and int and strength. We can choose any one we want as we have the slots for it. We can just put extra red nodes into raise shield. We can put extra red nodes into, you know, spear throw, whatever. We can, you know, red gems, blue gems, whatever we need at the time. We can become immune to that specific thing once we get this. I would recommend chill or ignite. Actually, I think I am chill immune. Let me check. Yeah, not chill immune. So you can get ignite or chill. I will probably be getting chill, so I can put my ignite gem in. My ignite charm in. I like the ignite charm. Ignite isn't that dangerous with a good life flask and the cool headed gem, which I forgot where I put now. See somewhere with this ignite's not that dangerous. It hurts. It does hurt. You will see your HP go if you get ignited, so you can become ignite immune if you want to become ignite immune. That is it, really. That kind of covers it. I'll go over how to get Archon of Chyula. You become the Acolyte of Chyula Ascendancy. You then go to the Withered Willow. When you do the Breach quest, is this even the right one? Yep. That's not the right one. You don't go to Withered Willow, sorry. You go to Monastery of the Keepers. Yep. That's where you go. Obviously, you knew that. As you do the quest line for this door will open and there will be the Dreamer over here. You talk to the Dreamer when you're the Acolyte of Chyula Ascendancy, and he will unlock this Archon of Chyula for you. If you're doing a spell build, you're doing a poison spell build with the same kind of autobombing tech, which one of the videos that I use to reference, which I will link, uses, you can't use Archon of Chyula because it requires a martial weapon. You can't do this with staffs or wands or anything. So just keep that in mind. Apart from that, that is kind of everything. I will go in and clear this map that I started, just to showcase the full clear. It's not super fast. It's not meta. It's not, you know, it's not tornadoes or whatever, twister. It's not spin, twister, spin, twister, kill everything in 1 second. It's not that. If you want to play that, you can play that. That's basically it for the build. Like I said, there's many ways to change around, scale it. There's many things you can do. Dominion is very important, so you can keep this up 24/7. Yeah, that kind of covers it. I'll leave a link to Path of Building. I'll leave a link to my PoE Ninja. I'll leave a link to all the videos I referenced. And if necessary, I will make a written guide if people are interested in a written guide. Otherwise, GG, I'll leave you with the map showcase and call it a video.